We're selling your beach house, Dad announced, cutting into his steak without looking up. It's now worth $4 million. The market's perfect. I paused with my fork halfway to my mouth, watching the sunset through the dining room windows of our family home. The same windows where, 20 years ago, I'd pressed my face against the glass, dreaming of building something of my own. Now at 32, I sat calmly as my family divided up what they thought was my only asset. Smart move, my brother Michael chimed in, already pulling up real estate listings on his phone. Beachfront properties are peaking. We could flip it into 3 smaller investments. Mom nodded approvingly, her diamond necklace catching the light. We've already scheduled viewings for tomorrow. The agent says it'll sell within a week. I took a slow sip of water, letting the ice clink against the glass. 20 years of their assumptions, their decisions, their certainty about my limitations, all building to this moment. The Hendersons next door already sold for $3.8 million, my sister-in-law Jessica added. With your property's extra beachfront, $4 million is conservative. The familiar weight of my phone felt heavy in my pocket. Any minute now. Dad finally looked up, his expression a practiced mix of authority and false concern. Look, sweetheart, we know you love that little beach house. But it's time to be practical. The family investment fund needs new capital, and you're not using it anyway. I watched him carefully. The same expression he'd worn when he'd told me my business ideas were cute hobbies 10 years ago. When he'd dismissed my interest in real estate as playing house, the market research is solid. Michael continued, turning his phone to show everyone a pricing chart. Coastal property values are up 40% since last year. If we don't sell now, my phone rang. The family fell silent as the ringtone echoed through the formal dining room. I glanced at the screen and smiled slightly. Sorry, I need to take this, I said, pushing back my chair. It's my real estate agent. Dad frowned. Your agent? We're using Harrison and Mills for the sale. They've handled all our properties. I put the phone on speaker and placed it in the center of the table. Miss Bennett, a crisp professional voice filled the room. I'm calling to confirm, the purchase has been approved. Congratulations, you now own the entire beachfront strip, all 14 properties. The sellers were impressed with your $57 million cash offer. The sound of forks clattering against china echoed through the sudden silence. Excellent news, I replied calmly. Please proceed with the closing documents. Of course. The properties will be transferred to your holding company, Horizon Ventures, immediately. That brings your total coastal portfolio to 37 properties, correct? Dad's face had gone pale. Michael's phone slipped from his fingers. That's correct, I confirmed. Please also update the tenant agreements for properties 8 through 14. The current residents can stay through the end of their leases, but we'll be beginning renovations on the others next month. Already done. Will you be announcing the acquisition at tomorrow's press conference? Yes, along with the hotel development plans. I glanced at my family's shocked faces. The architectural renderings are ready, I assume. They are. The 5-star beachfront resort project is generating significant buzz. Shall I send the final blueprints to your office? Perfect. Thank you. I ended the call. The dining room remained dead silent except for the gentle ticking of the antique clock, a sound that had accompanied so many lectures about my potential over the years. 37 properties, Mom whispered. 5-star resort, Michael's voice cracked. Horizon Ventures, Dad's face had shifted from pale to red. But that's the company that's been buying up half the coast. They've been negotiating for the Henderson estate for months. Yes, I said simply, taking another sip of water. We have. Jessica's hands were trembling. But you live in that tiny beach house. You drive a 10-year-old car. The beach house is my favorite property. I agreed. Simple, peaceful, perfect for thinking through business strategies. I turned to Dad. By the way, Harrison and Mills can't handle the sale, because I bought them last year. They're a subsidiary of Horizon now. The clock continued its steady ticking as 2 decades of assumptions crumbled around the mahogany dining table. How? Dad finally managed. When? 10 years ago you told me my interest in real estate was playing house, I said quietly. So I stopped telling you about it. I used my trust fund as seed money. The only good advice you gave was setting that up when I was born. Made my first purchase at 22. reinvested everything, lived simply, learned the market inside and out. I pulled out my tablet and pulled up the Horizon Ventures portfolio. While you were all focused on the family fund's 8% annual returns, I was building this. The property list scrolled on and on. Beachfront homes, commercial developments, luxury hotels, residential complexes. Total portfolio value $2.8 billion. That's impossible. Michael stuttered. We would have known. Would you? I asked mildly. When did any of you last ask about my work, my goals, my dreams? You were all too busy planning my life for me. Mom's hand flew to her throat. But what about the family fund? We needed your beach house to stabilize it after Michael's tech investment fell through. You mean the failed cryptocurrency platform? I pulled up another document. Horizon bought that too. At pennies on the dollar. We're restructuring it into something viable. Michael's face went from red to purple. You bought my company, along with Dad's shipping firm last month, though he hasn't realized it yet. I turned to my father. The board voted yesterday. Sorry about that golden parachute, had to be done. The antique clock struck 7. Its chimes echoing through the silence. Right on schedule. That will be the news alert, I said as phones around the table began buzzing simultaneously. Wall Street journals running the story about the coastal acquisition. They'll probably mention the shipping company purchase too. Dad fumbled for his phone, hands shaking as he pulled up the article. His face went ashen as he read the headline. Horizon Ventures expands empire, mystery CEO revealed. You all should probably read the whole piece, I suggested, standing up. Especially the part about the new board structure and management changes. I picked up my phone and tablet. I have a press conference to prepare for, but we should do dinner again soon. Maybe at the beach house. I walked to the door, then paused. Oh, and Dad, we're not selling my beach house, but I hear the family mansion will be on the market soon. Poor management of the family fund and all that. Don't worry though. I smiled. I might buy it. The door clicked shut behind me as I left them with their cold dinner and shattered assumptions. In my car, I pulled up the real-time news alerts, tracking Horizon's latest moves. The market was responding exactly as predicted. My phone buzzed. My actual real estate team with updates on the resort development. I had 30 minutes until the next series of calls that would shape the future of the coast. Just enough time to stop by my little beach house and watch the sunset over the empire they never knew I was building. The headlines kept rolling in as I drove away from the family home. Horizon Ventures, the making of a real estate empire. Mystery CEO's strategic genius. Coastal development revolution. Let them read all about it, I thought, smiling as I turned toward the beach. The sound of waves would be the perfect backdrop for tomorrow's announcements. After all, I had a press conference to prepare for, a resort to build, and a few more assumptions to shatter. I'd learned long ago that success was the best revenge. But watching them realize just how wrong they'd been, that was worth every penny of my billions. The morning after the family dinner revelation, I sat in my beach house office, watching the sunrise paint the ocean in shades of gold. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing with messages from family members, ranging from apologetic to angry to desperately seeking meetings. Miss Bennett, my assistant Sarah's voice came through the intercom. The morning briefing is ready. I pressed a button, transforming the peaceful beach house living room into a state-of-the-art command center. Multiple screens descended from hidden ceiling panels, displaying real-time market data, property analytics, and news feeds. Let's begin, I said as my core team appeared on the main screen. The market's responding positively to yesterday's announcements. Marcus, my CFO, reported Horizon stock is up 12% in pre-market trading. Total acquisition news exceeded expectations. I nodded, scanning the financial reports. And the family fund, down 27%. After news of the management changes. Your father's shipping company shares dropped 40% when the restructuring was announced. A message flashed on my phone. Dad again. 10th attempt since morning. Their board meeting is in an hour. Lisa, my legal counsel, added. They're trying to challenge the acquisition, but everything's airtight. We own 51% through various subsidiaries. Personal update, Sarah interjected. Your brother Michael is in the lobby of Horizon's main office. He's been there since 7 a.m. demanding to see you. Your sister-in-law Jessica has been calling investors, trying to raise capital to save the family business. I smiled slightly. How's that working out? Every major investor in the region is already partnered with Horizon. No one's returning their calls. Another message. Mom this time. Sweetheart please, we need to talk. The bank is calling about the mansion mortgage. The press is having a field day. Our PR director commented. They're calling it the silent takeover. Your story's trending. The secret billionaire, who built an empire while her family underestimated her. I pulled up the latest coverage. The headlines were better than expected. Horizon CEO reveals dynasty. Family's empire crumbles as daughter's success surfaces. Beach house billionaire. How one woman outsmarted her family's financial empire. Bennett family shock. Daughter's company acquires father's failing business. What's next? Marcus asked. The family will keep trying to fight this. Let them, I replied, opening my laptop. Now about the resort development. A commotion interrupted us. Through the security feeds, I watched Michael arguing with the beach house security team. She's my sister. You can't keep me out. Do you know who our family is? I sighed. Let him in. But screen him first. Minutes later, Michael burst into my office, stopping short at the sight of the command center. His designer suit was wrinkled, his usual polished appearance disheveled. What have you done? He demanded. Dad's in meetings with lawyers. Mom's crying. Our family's reputation. Our family's reputation. I interrupted coolly. You mean the reputation built on undermining others, on dismissing anyone who didn't fit your narrow vision of success. We were trying to protect you, keep you from making mistakes, like your cryptocurrency platform. I pulled up the acquisition document.
Oh,
The one that lost $50 million in investor funds. The one I had to buy and restructure to prevent fraud charges. He paled. How did you know? I've known everything, Michael. Every failed investment. Every covered-up mistake. I watched for years as you and Dad played with other people's money. Convinced of your own brilliance. So this is revenge. This is business. I stood facing him. Pure, simple, profitable business. Everything I learned. While you were all too busy patronizing me to notice. His phone buzzed. Probably Dad with updates from the board meeting. Mine lit up with a message from Lisa. Board vote complete. Restructuring approved. Your father's out. You should answer that. I nodded toward his phone. Dad's probably looking for explanations about his golden parachute being cancelled. Michael's hands shook as he read the message. You can't do this to us. We're family. Family? I laughed softly. Was it family when you all planned to sell my beach house without consulting me? When you dismissed every idea I ever had? When you told potential investors not to waste time with my little projects? He sank into a chair. The reality finally hitting him. What do you want? I already have what I want. I gestured to the screens showing Horizon's empire. What I built while you were all too arrogant to see it. The family fund. Everyone's investments are in there. We're in there, I corrected. Don't worry. The small investors will be protected. Horizon's taking over their accounts with a 5% bonus for their trouble. Only the family holdings are being restructured. You've thought of everything, haven't you? That's what happens when people underestimate you. You learn to plan thoroughly. My phone buzzed. The press conference was in 30 minutes. You should go, I said, standing. I have a company to run. Oh, and Michael, the Ferrari you bought with company funds last month. The repo team should be at your house now. He left without another word, passing Sarah in the doorway. Your parents are here, she announced. Your father seems agitated. I checked the security feed. Dad was red-faced. Mom crying beside him. Perfect timing, I murmured. Send them up. Let's finish this. They entered like wounded royalty. Their designer clothes and perfect posture at odds with their desperate expressions. The board meeting. Dad started, his voice hoarse. How long have you been planning this? Since you laughed at my first business plan. I replied. Remember, I was 22. Proposed buying a small apartment building. You said real estate was men's work. We were protecting you. Mom pleaded. The business world is harsh. Yes, it is. I pulled up the family fund's real numbers. Not the doctored ones they showed investors. Like when you used my trust fund as collateral for Michael's failed ventures. Did you think I wouldn't notice? Dad stepped forward. Now see here. No, you see. I pressed a button, displaying Horizon's complete portfolio. While you were protecting me, I built this. Every property, every acquisition, every success you dismissed as luck or coincidence, all part of a plan. But Beach House, Mom whispered, you live so simply. Because I understand value, Mom. Real value, not the illusion you and Dad chased with borrowed money and inflated egos. My phone buzzed again. Press conference in 15 minutes. I have a company to run, I said, gathering my things. The mansion's new owners take possession next week. I've arranged apartments for you both. Reasonable rent. Considering the market. Apartments, Dad exploded. We are not some charity case. No, you're former executives who mismanaged funds and lost investor confidence. The apartments are a courtesy. Would you prefer I let the fraud investigations proceed? They left shortly after, broken but finally understanding. The dynasty they'd built on assumptions and arrogance had crumbled, replaced by something stronger, something built on quiet determination and careful planning. Sarah appeared with my press conference notes. The media's waiting. They're calling you the silent CEO, the billionaire who built an empire in secret. I smiled, looking out at my beach house view. Not in secret, Sarah, right in front of them. They just never bothered to look. The screens showed Horizon's stock continuing to rise as the market absorbed the full scope of our coastal development plans. My phone had stopped buzzing with family messages. Reality had finally sunk in. Time to go, Sarah reminded me. The world's waiting to meet the real you. I took one last look at the ocean view, the same view that had inspired my first property purchase. My first step toward building something they never thought I could. The real me, I mused. They're about to learn that success doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just quietly builds an empire, one underestimated moment at a time. The press conference room at Horizon Tower buzzed with anticipation. Financial reporters from every major network filled the seats, cameras ready to capture the first public appearance of the mysterious CEO who had orchestrated one of the most remarkable silent takeovers in recent business history. I stood backstage, adjusting my simple but elegant navy suit. No flashy jewelry or designer labels. Success didn't need decoration. 5 minutes, Sarah whispered, handing me the latest market updates. Your family's outside, demanding to be let in. Standard protocol, I replied calmly. They can watch from the lobby screens like everyone else. The numbers on the tablet told their own story. Horizon stock up 18%. The family fund's remaining assets frozen pending investigation. Dad's shipping company already being restructured under new management. Miss Bennett, a young intern, appeared. You have a call from the governor's office. They want to discuss the coastal development impact. Schedule it for tomorrow, I said. Today's about setting the record straight. The screens around me showed various news channels, all running variations of my story. Financial analysts debated how I'd built such an empire in secret. Business experts analyzed the strategy behind acquiring the family's failing companies. Social media exploded with memes about the beach house billionaire. It's time, Sarah announced. I stepped onto the stage, the cameras clicking furiously. The room fell silent as I took my place at the podium. Through the glass walls of the conference room, I could see my family in the lobby below, watching the mounted screens with tight expressions. Good morning, I began, my voice steady. I'm Alexandra Bennett, CEO of Horizon Ventures. Though given yesterday's revelations, I suppose most of you already know that. A small laugh rippled through the crowd. For years, Horizon has been known as a mystery company, making strategic acquisitions along the coast, transforming properties, building value. Today, I'm here to share our vision for the future, and perhaps correct some misconceptions about the past. I clicked to the first slide showing the beach house where it all began. 10 years ago, I bought my first property with a simple trust fund. While my family saw a modest beach house, I saw potential. While they dismissed my interest in real estate as a hobby, I was studying market trends, building relationships, and quietly assembling what would become one of the largest property portfolios on the coast. The next slide showed Horizon's complete holdings: hotels, commercial complexes, residential developments stretching for miles along prime coastline. Every successful empire has a foundation, I continued. Mine was built on being underestimated, on being dismissed, on being seen as the quiet daughter who needed protection from the business world. In the lobby, I saw Dad's face redden. Yesterday, many were shocked to learn that Horizon had acquired Bennett Shipping and several other family holdings. The truth is, these acquisitions were not about revenge or family drama. They were sound business decisions protecting investors and employees from mismanagement and potential collapse. The reporters' fingers flew across their keyboards. The coastal development project announced yesterday represents our largest investment yet, a $2 billion initiative to transform the waterfront while preserving its natural beauty and ensuring sustainable growth. I clicked through architectural renderings of the planned resort complex, the renovated properties, the public spaces that would make the beach accessible to everyone, not just the wealthy. But today isn't just about business announcements, I said, my voice softening slightly. It's about challenging assumptions, about proving that success doesn't always look like what people expect. Sometimes it looks like a woman in a modest beach house, quietly building something extraordinary while others underestimate her potential. Questions erupted from the crowd. Miss Bennett, did your family really not know about your success? How did you keep such a large operation secret? What's next for the Bennett family businesses? I held up a hand. Horizon's operations were never secret. They were public record. Anyone could have looked. Anyone could have asked. But sometimes people see what they expect to see, not what's actually there. Through the glass, I watched my brother slump against a wall, my mother dab at her eyes with a handkerchief. As for the future, I continued, Horizon will continue its mission of strategic growth and responsible development. The Bennett family companies will be restructured to protect employees and small investors. And yes, I'll keep my beach house, though now everyone knows it's more than just a simple summer home. The questions continued, but I saw Sarah signaling from the side. The governor's office was calling again, and the coastal development permits needed immediate attention. Thank you for your time, I concluded. Horizon's full development plans and financial reports are available in your press packets. The story you'll find there isn't about family drama or revenge. It's about vision, patience, and the power of being underestimated. As I left the stage, the media erupted in a frenzy of coverage. On the lobby screens, I watched analysts already dissecting every word, praising the strategic brilliance of Horizon's quiet rise to power. In my office at the top of Horizon Tower, I could see my beach house in the distance, its simple lines a reminder of where it all began. My phone buzzed with a message from Dad. We need to talk. Please, I set the phone aside and turned to the stack of coastal development permits waiting for my signature. The time for family drama was over. I had an empire to run, one built not on assumptions and arrogance, but on the quiet strength of proving everyone wrong. Sarah entered with fresh market updates. The governor's waiting on line 1. The resort developers need decisions on the environmental impact studies, and your family's still in the lobby. I smiled, picking up my pen. Tell the governor I'll call back in an hour. Send the developers the updated plans. And my family? I glanced at the beach house in the distance. Tell them they can make an appointment like everyone else. I'm busy building something they never thought I could. The sun glinted off the ocean, the same view that had inspired my first purchase, my first step toward proving that success doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just quietly builds an empire, one underestimated moment at a time. 1 month after the press conference, I sat on my beach house deck watching the sunrise. The morning papers lay scattered around me, their headlines telling the story of Horizon's continued success. Coastal Development Project receives universal approval. Horizon Ventures sets new industry standards. Bennett family empire. The complete transfer of power. My phone buzzed, a message from Sarah. Final paperwork for the family mansion sale is ready. Your parents have scheduled their move-out inspection for today. I took a sip of coffee, remembering the family dinners where my dreams were dismissed as childish fantasies. Now those same dreams had reshaped the entire coast. A familiar car pulled into my driveway. Dad's Mercedes, no longer the latest model. He'd had to downsize considerably since the takeover. Alexandra, he called out, his voice lacking its usual authority. Can we talk? I gestured to the deck chair beside me. He sat down heavily, looking older than his 60 years. The apartment you arranged, he began. It's adequate. Your mother's adjusting. Good, I replied simply. Michael's accepted that position you offered at the reformed crypto division. Entry-level analyst, was it? I nodded. Everyone starts somewhere, even family. He stared out at the ocean, where construction crews were already preparing for the resort development. All those years, watching you sit quietly at dinner while we planned your future, you were planning ours, weren't you? No, Dad, I was building my own future. Yours just happened to depend on assumptions that weren't true. A yacht sailed past, one of Horizon's luxury charters, already booked solid for the season. The board meetings, he continued. When you'd sit in the corner, taking notes, you weren't just observing. Were you? I was learning. Every mistake, every missed opportunity, every arrogant decision, they all taught me what not to do. His hands clenched the armrests. I've been offered a consulting position at Maxwell Industries. I know. I advised them against it. He turned sharply. That was you. The business world's smaller than you thought, isn't it? Sarah appeared at the deck door. Miss Bennett, the governor's task force is waiting for your environmental impact presentation. I stood straightening my jacket. Time to go. The moving company will be at the mansion at noon. Don't forget anything. The new owners take possession tomorrow. Alexandra, Dad called as I reached the door. The beach house, why keep it? You could have any property now. I smiled slightly, because every empire needs a foundation, a reminder of where it started, and why. The morning sun caught the waves, making them sparkle like the success they said I'd never achieve. In the distance, construction crews continued their work on what would become the coast's most prestigious resort. Goodbye, Dad, I said. Give Mom my best. And Dad, that consulting position, try Richardson Corp instead. They could use someone who's learned the hard way about corporate humility. As my car pulled away, I watched him in the rearview mirror, a small figure on the deck of the beach house where his daughter's quiet revolution began. Sarah reviewed my schedule as we drove board meetings, development proposals, investment strategies. The empire growing stronger each day. Your sister-in-law called, she added. Jessica's starting a small business. She's hoping for a meeting. Send her to our small business development program. I replied. No shortcuts, no family favors. Let her earn it. We pulled into Horizon Tower, its sleek glass exterior reflecting the morning sun. In the lobby, employees nodded respectfully, not because of my name, but because of what I'd built. My phone buzzed one last time. Mom, the mansion's almost empty. Found your old business plans in the attic. I finally read them. They were brilliant. I'm sorry we never saw it. I stepped into my office, the coastal empire spread out before me through floor-to-ceiling windows. The beach house was visible in the distance, a small reminder of big dreams. Ready for the governor's task force? Sarah asked. Always, I replied, picking up my presentation materials. After all, success isn't about who believes in you. It's about believing in yourself enough to prove them wrong. The morning sun caught my empire's reflection in the windows, buildings, beaches, and one small house where it all began. Where a quiet daughter's dismissed dreams had grown into something even her family's imagination couldn't contain. Sometimes the biggest successes start with the smallest moments of being underestimated. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's excellent. End of story.